Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the 5th year of the pitch. Woohoo! So my name is Susan Pleiner, and I'm an Associate Dean and Director of the Centennial Center for Leadership. I'm delighted to see so many of you here today, and parents, professors, friends, staff, faculty, and mentors to share in this wonderful event. So before we begin, the standard, could everybody please silence your phones? Thank you. Take them out. Well, you don't have to shut them off, just silence them. If you are interested in tweeting during this event, feel free. And if you want to use our hashtag, it's #ThePitch2016. Okay. So this is an exciting event. It's hard to believe that the pitch is in its 5th year. When we started this contest in 2012, President Guerin's year-long academic theme was called The Power of an Idea. I was reminded as I watched our 4 finalists prepare and practice for this event how fortunate we are to work with students who are so creative and courageous. Each of them has an idea that they are passionate about. Each of them has worked tremendously hard to see it through. We at the Centennial Center for Leadership consider ourselves enormously lucky to be surrounded by so many talented students. There is a power in ideas, especially in the ideas you will hear tonight. Won't you please join me in congratulating our finalists? Speaking of finalists, I would be remiss not to mention that we have 3 past winners in the house tonight. Can we have the 3 finalists from years 2, 3, and 4 please stand? Otto, Drew, Paige, where are you? Paige in the back. Ideas have power and sustainability. Be sure to take this moment to say thanks to the members of our community who support this contest. Over the years, the pitch has been a display of our students' capacity to innovate and create. It has also been a display of our alums' commitment to our students. For the past 2 years, Stu Lieblein, class of the 1990, has generously funded the $10,000 grant and will do so for the next 3 years. And Stu is with us tonight. Stu, the Centennial Center for Leadership would like to thank you for your dedication to our students, the contest, and HWS. Woo-hoo. The Centennial Center for Leadership knows what it's like to be lifted up by our alums. Our center was established by their generosity. In addition to Stu, there have been 38 alums who have served as mentors, and 17 alums have joined us as judges. I want to thank those individuals for reaching back to the students at their alma mater. We couldn't do this work without you. And last, I know I can speak for our students when I thank the many faculty and staff who have served as mentors, advisors, and sounding boards. We're so grateful that they pushed their students to enter with their ideas. The power of an idea doesn't happen without a lot of encouragement, critique, and the belief that their students can do it. The Centennial Center for Leadership is proud of all of our pitch participants. Coming up with an idea is challenging. Committing to it is even more difficult. As entrepreneurship continues to grow on campus with our newly approved entrepreneurial studies minor, we look forward to more opportunities for students to showcase their ideas. President Guerin opened that door for us many years ago. Please welcome him to the stage to introduce our judges. All right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pleiner. And welcome to this year's pitch. This is one of my favorite days of the year. It's great to see so many of our students here and staff and faculty members and family members that are here, and of course our judges that I'm privileged to introduce. I also want to recognize a graduate who's here from the class of 1955, who tonight opens a stunning collection at Odette Houghton House at the Davis Gallery of prints that he has collected over the years. He is a loyal alumnus of Hobart and William Smith, and I would like to recognize and thank Mr. Ed Pollack, who's here. Mr. Pollack. So, an entrepreneur himself, and I would encourage you to get out to the Davis Gallery and see the dazzling exhibit that is there. As Dr. Pleiner said, this is the 5th year of the pitch competition, and we warmly congratulate the 3 previous winners that are here and those who've competed for this. We've seen this entire competition grow. And when you look at those who have been successful from this stage, they've gone on to be directors of nonprofit organizations, new business owners right here in Geneva, New York, leading important efforts globally. They've really gone on to distinguish themselves from the ideas and the hard work that they showed as part of this pitch competition. So we're immensely proud of the Centennial Center's work, grateful to Susan Pleiner and Amy Forbes and all at the Centennial Center for their leadership and those alums who sustain it and made it such a vibrant part of our campus. The ideas that you'll hear tonight from our students, and every year it gets much more competitive, and the ideas are that much more robust. But they're an interesting reflection, from my perspective, of their learning, their academic interests, their individual passions, and certainly their commitment to this process that Dr. Pleiner spoke of. They're a reflection of their hard work, our professors and staff members, our alums and mentors that all went into this, and so we celebrate them in advance of this competition and thank all those who've been a part of it. It's interesting from my point of view because, of course, entrepreneurship continues to grow and thrive here at Hobart and William Smith. With our new entrepreneurial studies minor, this will provide an academic grounding to many of the ideas that are underway here. We encourage students in the humanities, social sciences, and the sciences to become a part and to take part in the Centennial Center and to consider some of the entrepreneurial studies effort. And then last, from my point of view, before I recognize the judges, I want to join with Susan Pleiner in thanking Stu Lieblein, who sits here up front. He has generously supported this effort, but as significantly, he has mentored students, works with Amy and Susan, and thinks carefully about this event. So on behalf of all of us, Stu, I thank you for your engagement with the institution and invite us once again to express our gratitude for tonight. Okay, so here comes the fun part, to introduce the judges. All graduates, so we know they're well-educated, liberal arts graduates who bring that perspective, but importantly, a richer way of professional experiences that have been brought to bear to make them eminently qualified with the very tough task of judging the competition. So let me introduce them to you. We're fortunate that their various careers in entrepreneurship that spans from the auto to real estate to marketing and technology sectors, all coming together in this dazzling panel. First, Dan Chesson, class of '84. He's co-president and CEO of Hahn Automotive Warehouse in Rochester, New York. Dan, welcome back. Thank you. Chris Dicino, coming up from Florida. He is the founder and owner of Wellington Equestrian Realty and Ocala Horse Properties. Welcome back, and thank you, Chris. From the class of 1983, Sabrina Horn, who's managing partner and technology practice leader at Finn Partners. Welcome back, Sabrina. And from the class of 92, Amy Ziff, who's CEO and founder of Non-Toxic Certified in New York. Welcome back. So we want to start with a few questions, as is our tradition, to our judges. The questions we thought would be interesting to broaden the conversation here before the presentations about entrepreneurship and leadership. So let me start with Amy, because you're probably always last with a name like Ziff, so we'll start with you first. What would you say about your experience here at the colleges has helped you in your career, which has been so successful? You all represent a life of consequence, and we hold you up to our students as lives of meaning and purpose and care for their alma mater. But reflecting on your experience here, speak to some of the ways where your experience at the colleges helped you to be so successful.
Well, I think it's funny coming back. You know, I have all of these memories that I've sort of forgotten that go so low, but I've been reflecting today on a little bit about the meaning of being at Hobart William Smith and all that it gave me. I think it's really hard when you're sitting here in these chairs thinking about what it's going to be like 25 years on, which is what I'm approaching right now. And I think about the things, there are probably 3 things that really are major themes that came into my life, and not all of them were learned in the classroom here at Hobart William Smith. For sure, number 1, intellectual curiosity. Constantly question, always ask, always wonder, and never lose that curiosity, no matter how old you are. 2, I would say, know no bounds. You know, coming to William Smith as a very young woman was an amazing experience, and to start to blossom into the woman that I would really truly develop into, am still developing into, was incredible. But knowing that there are no ceilings except the ones that you put on yourselves, really, really an important thing I learned here. And the third thing would be community, because you need community, no matter how that takes shape, whether you build that through your family or through a university or through your work, and maybe all of it, but it takes a community to have, I think, success in this lifetime, and I learned a lot about that and fostering community here at the colleges.
Wow, what a nice answer. Thank you. So Dan, let me turn to you. We talk a lot about leadership at the Centennial Center for Leadership. As you look at entrepreneurial leaders, what are some of the qualities that stand out to you and that you look at when you observe great leadership and great entrepreneurial leaders?
I think there are a number of qualities, but I think basically to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of belief in yourself and also be able to conquer kind of an innate fear of failure. And even if you do fail, you have to be able to conquer your failure and move ahead. And oftentimes in business, business isn't built necessarily on success. It can be built on failures. You know, a lot of us have studied a lot of great entrepreneurs in their day, and I remember very vividly reading an article, I think it was in Esquire magazine 20 years ago, about Sumner Redstone, and it was amazing. You know, he's obviously getting on in age, and there's a number of things going on with him right now. We'll see some of these protracted fights going on and read about him in the journal. But, you know, he built an amazing business that really withstood the test of time. And he just had a way of always conquering failures, conquering obstacles that were placed in front of him. He was in a terrible fire that almost took his life, and he just would never really let anything that bad happened to him stop him. And I think it's just been an amazing thing to kind of read some of these amazing people and what they've accomplished in life, but also how they haven't let obstacles that have been placed in front of them you know, get in the way of their ultimate goals and success. And I think, you know, I look out here at all of these young, great minds, and that really the world is your oyster. If you guys really focus on what you want to do and really execute a plan, you can achieve and accomplish anything. You know, we're kind of the older people up here, and I think as you get older, you maybe gain some experience, but oftentimes when you're young, you have less fear, and you're more apt to just keep going at something and try to get to a solution by trial and error. And oftentimes when you get older, you become a little, you know, risk averse. So I think a lot of it is just having the the passion and creativity to stick to your guns and really shoot for the moon and really accomplish something.
Excellent. Thank you. So, Sabrina, let's build on Dan's point about Sumner Redstone. And what advice would you give your undergraduate self of a few years ago?
So I think probably maybe 3 or 4 things. Don't take this place for granted. I did. It's an amazing place. And you come and you're young and you know, it's beautiful and there's this lake and everybody's so nice and you can learn, like, take advantage of everything here and take advantage of the beauty as well of the country up here. Next, I would say really keep an open mind, and even though you may pick a major, like, don't keep blinders on to the other possible things that you can learn here in other disciplines that may have nothing to do with your chosen major or field. Don't be afraid of public speaking, because I was. I had a horrible experience. And particularly for the women in the audience, I will say, like, I think it's been said here as well, but like, you can achieve anything in this world, whether you're a man or a woman. Your gender is irrelevant. And as a woman, you know, you can do anything in the world if you set your mind to it and if you're smart and if you do your homework. And I never knew when I was here between 1979 and 1983 that I would be one of the very first few female CEOs in Silicon Valley. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that I had a mission. I knew my chosen field. I knew public relations. I knew technology. And I asked a lot of people a lot of questions, and I asked for a lot of help. And so that's my message. That would be my message to myself, that you can do anything you want.
Fabulous. I like that. Don't take it for granted. It was sort of DiCaprio's line at the Oscars, right? He didn't say. No, I loved that line. He was. All right. So, Chris, what should new entrepreneurs know? You're in an interesting part of the country in Florida. You see a lot of new entrepreneurship and ideas bubbling around. What should they know?
Absolutely. I think a lot of what I have to say probably is a crossover what Dan said. There is failure. And you know, now I'm 43 years old, and I'm more risk adverse now than I was when I was 28 years old when I first started my first company. I didn't know failure, and I think that's probably the most important thing, is you cannot fail. You have to believe in your product, your concept, more than anybody else. When you get knocked down, you have to pick yourself back up. There is no guarantee it's going to work. There's no paycheck. There's no guarantee whatsoever. So I think with that, number 2, it's going to be hard. There's nothing easy about it. At the end of the day, people are going to tell you you're going to fail. I had it happen to me all the time, including my father. So you have to keep moving forward and work really hard. The other day, I was at Halsey's for dinner, and I ran into the woman who won last year's competition, Paige, and I saw on her face she was stressed out, and I introduced myself, and I found out that she won it last year. And I can tell she was having one of those days, running her business, and she was having a crisis. But at the end of the day, I talked to her today, and it passed. She worked through it, and you just got to keep going and going and believe in yourself.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, you can all readily see why we invited these 4 great alums back to campus. And so we're grateful for your travels, grateful for your being here, and I'm sure our pitch presenters tonight will enjoy the questions. So again, we're in for a fun night, with my thanks to the Centennial Center and Provost Ufamata, who is here. Provost, thank you for your leadership with the center. Good luck to our contestants, and welcome to the pitch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, President Guerin. Well, I get to tell you about the contest now. Last fall, we sent out a call for proposals. We told students to outline their ideas for products and services and organizations. They could be for-profit or nonprofit. I want to thank our fantastic selection committee, who really has a very short time to turn around a lot of proposals, and they narrowed the field this year. They chose 8 semifinalists who we matched with alum mentors. These mentors assisted students as they revised and strengthened their proposals. We want to thank all those mentors, many of whom are watching on the live link at home. Their passion in seeing our students succeed was really extraordinary. Our selection committee decided on 4 finalists at the end of the second round, and these finalists are with us now. They have withstood 2 rigorous rounds where written proposals were emphasized, but their task tonight is much different. Tonight, we've asked them to pitch their idea to a panel of judges, a fantastic group that we've gathered to help us select these finalists. The audience should know that the judges are looking for 5 criteria: presentation, innovativeness, viability, significance, and leadership. Each finalist will have 8 minutes of uninterrupted time to pitch their idea. After each presentation, our judges will have time to ask the finalists questions. Once all 4 finalists have finished, our judges will be excused to deliberate, and our audience can enjoy some desserts outside. During our intermission, we'll visit with last year's winner, Paige, and afterwards we will announce the winner of the $10,000 grant. So it's very exciting there, right? So to start off this evening, we're going to get right into the presentations. I want to invite to the stage our first finalist, Almami Kande. Almami is a sophomore economics major who is mentored by Joe DeSimone Jr., broker and owner of First Federal Realty. Please welcome to the stage Almami, creator of Smart Hunter.
Sweet. How many of you have ever had this happen to you? You go online and you view an apartment, it looks like this. But when you get there, it looks like this. It happens all the time, especially in real estate. Good evening. My name is Almami Kande. Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to a service that will ease the way people apartment hunt online. When I was 18 years old, I decided to get my real estate license. Last summer, I had the opportunity to work in Brooklyn, New York for a real estate agency named Rapid Realty. There I met a client named Isaac, who reached out to me after showing interest in a couple of apartments I advertised online. He landed a job in New York City, but due to living in California, he was unable to find an apartment before graduation. He began to explain to me how difficult the apartment hunt process has been for him. Big real estate companies such as Zillow, Craigslist, RadPad, and Zumper all failed to accommodate his needs. So after scheduling an appointment, I showed him 5 properties. After viewing the last apartment, he said this to me: "I wish there was a way I could have narrowed down my apartment search without having to waste an entire day. If I was able to preview apartments while being in California, that would have saved us both so much time and trouble." My partners and I view this problem as an opportunity to create a solution that would ease the apartment hunt process for the consumer as well as the real estate agent. Our solution is Smart Hunter. Smart Hunter is a free real estate website and app for renters and agents. Smart Hunter is not an agency, but a platform for agents to use to advertise their inventory for free. The service attracts consumers like Isaac and allows them to search and find rental apartments in urban areas. Consumers wear a headset similar to one like this that allows them to feel like they've been transported into a different place. Virtual reality utilizes sight, sound, and touch for users to have a fully immersive experience. Users wear a headset similar to one like this that allows them to feel like they've been transported into a different place. Currently, the technology has become readily available. All smartphones have the capability of using the technology. Virtual reality is in the early stages of the real estate market. For example, Sotheby's utilizes VR technology to help luxury home buyers find high-end properties. However, Smart Hunter is very different. We refined VR technology to allow it to be used by the everyday person. Specifically, we apply VR technology to the rental market to help college graduates find an apartment after college. In my appointment with Isaac, it took me an entire day to show him 5 properties. With Smart Hunter, Isaac has the ability to control his own time and view apartments whenever for as many times as he wants. Here's how it works. As an agent, I go on Smart Hunter and set up a profile to advertise my inventory for free. I receive a VR camera from Smart Hunter after purchasing it on their website. Now I am able to record all my apartment listings using my VR camera and post on the Smart Hunter for consumers to view. Consumers like Isaac go on Smart Hunter and request a VR headset. Isaac is able to search apartments by price, location, and amount of bedrooms he wants. Using his VR headset, he is able to experience a virtual reality tour of the apartment. He is able to view the size of the bedroom, bathroom, and living room. Let's say he likes the apartment I posted and wants to secure it off the market. He has the option to do so by paying a quarter of a month's rent to secure the apartment off the market for 24 hours. Within those 24 hours, he has the opportunity to physically view the space with an agent. If he likes the apartment, he would deposit the remaining of the moving costs. If he is approved, then Smart Hunter will charge 10% fee from the agent's commission. However, if Isaac doesn't like the apartment or is not improved, then Smart Hunter does not charge a 10% fee. Isaac would then be refunded a portion of his deposit. Smart Hunter is extremely unique. The difference between Smart Hunter and its competitors is Smart Hunter's ability to benefit the consumer as well as the real estate agent. Smart Hunter benefits consumers for 3 reasons. First, the service saves them time and travel. Second, consumers are able to preview and tour more apartments than they would have by going door to door or across town with a broker. Third, consumers are able to pay an online deposit to secure the apartment off the market. Smart Hunter also benefits agents for 3 reasons. First, Smart Hunter is a free service for agents to use to advertise their inventory for free. Second, agents are able to show more properties to clients without having to constantly contact owners for access. Third, agents are able to work with more clients and make more money. We need the $10,000 for our initial startup costs. As a licensed real estate agent in New York City, I have built personal relationships with multiple agencies in Brooklyn. For that reason, we plan to pilot our service first in Brooklyn. We have begun discussions with Fillmore, Rapid Realty, and Century 21. All 3 are successful agencies that have thousands of apartment listings. For the pilot, we plan to gain 500 listings from each agency. After showing them how to use the VR technology, our goal is to gain at least 1,500 listings on Smart Hunter. Once we have the inventory, we will advertise to college graduates searching to move to the New York City area. We need the $10,000 for our initial startup costs. We will use approximately $6,000 towards Smart Hunter entity fees, maintenance fees, and purchase 1,000 VR headsets. We have the ability to create our website and app by ourselves. After covering the initial costs, Smart has a capacity to be an extremely profitable business. Smart will have 3 streams of revenue. The first will come from charging a 10% fee from each agent after their client has been approved. The second stream of revenue will come from charging a fee to record properties for agents having difficulties. And the third stream of revenue will come from advertising between cross-market industries. Within 3 to 4 months, we plan to complete the pilot. Brooklyn's average rent is $2,700. Because we charge a 10% fee from each agent's commission, which is typically worth 1 month's rent, if we got 1,000 users to move into new apartments, then we will have earned an estimated $270,000 in revenue. This does not include potential revenue from property filming and advertisement. After a successful pilot, we plan to expand to the entire New York City area. If Smart is successful in New York City, we're extremely confident that Smart will be successful in urban areas all across the world. A great idea needs a great team to bring it to life. I'm lucky enough to work with 2 of my best friends and co-founders. Please welcome Peter Yip and Frank Beatrice. In addition to the 3 of us, we have formed a team of 7 employees who have experience in coding, designing, and cybersecurity. So with this $10,000, having a great team with my real estate experience, we'll be able to launch Smart Hunter within a year. With virtual reality, Smart Hunter will make finding your next apartment 10 times easier. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Smart Hunter.
Very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So to me, when I think about this, having built a couple of different technologies that were totally innovative, never had been done before, you know, the hardest thing about it is getting your first sale, sort of getting that first, and I'm not talking about the actual person who's going to rent the apartment. It's before that, the first sale. To me, and your idea is getting real estate agents to actually use the equipment to do that, because you need that content for your website to make Smart Hunter work. So I would love to just hear a little bit about how you think about getting them signed up. So, you know, if this idea does, in my mind, live and die in that opportunity, how would you, how are you going to get them to actually use this, upload it, put the content on to be on Smart Hunter?
Okay, so I'm going to answer the first question. So with the 3 agencies, Fillmore, Rapid Realty, and Century 21. So Rapid Realty is my home agency, and it was simple. We got a lot of agents to work with us. They're excited for the service. I just pitched two simple reasons why. The first one was advertisement, free advertisement. I'm an agent myself, so any way you can advertise for free is a key. But the biggest one that when I pitched it to them and it got their attention was strong leads. You know, you deal with services and they promise strong leads, but when you go view an apartment, a client will just view it in 5 minutes and say, okay, I'm going to go on to my next appointment. So the way we promise strong leads is we have a user that submits required documents and a deposit. So that's giving the agent confidence that they're dealing with a stronger lead, someone that's willing to pay, that already has paid a deposit. So that's how we got those agents aboard. But towards getting other agents, what we want to do is actually work with agencies that target our same niche. For example, you have Next Step Realty. They target college graduates. So that's an agency, for example, that we would like to get in touch with. But the headset, the VR camera itself is very simple to use, and you attach it to a smartphone. I believe I placed it on your, okay, yes. But that's how we went about the process so far with the 3 agencies.
Street Easy,
Yes.
which pretty much is the most accurate site in New York City. It's
Right.
kind of like the Bible for anybody looking for
Right.
real estate. So what is your plan to implement your business fast enough so a Street Easy that you already have realtors that are loyal to, consumers already know, that they can't just hijack this idea, which I find I find it quite intriguing, being a real estate person myself. How can you roll this out fast enough so they don't hijack it, and you've done all their work, and they rolled it into Manhattan, and you're done?
Okay, so I thought about that with my broker. So the first thing I wanted to do was build a strong relationship with a company called Teleport. So the biggest difference so virtual reality, you're in real estate. So right now, a lot of real estate agents are trying to bring virtual reality and incorporate it into the business, but it's very expensive. So we found a way to work with Teleport. We reached out to them. They viewed our service as a way to boost their sales. So the actual headset is actually the VR camera is $60. So we believe that we found a way to use a service that's affordable for the everyday person. As well as our business models is very different from Street Easy's map layout. But we believe that our VR technology and partnering with Teleport is essential, is a key.
Really nice presentation.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So I guess I have kind of a 2-part question. How are you going to get 1,000 customers, right, is what you said?
Yes,
1,000 students?
Yes.
How are you going to get 1,000 students? How are you going to market to them? How are you going to reach them? And how are you going to draw them to Smart Hunter?
Okay. So now with consumers on college campuses, we're college students ourselves, so we know how to market to ourselves. But the way we want to do it is actually target colleges sending their students to the New York City area. And we put up a list of colleges there because those are the colleges with the highest amount of college graduates moving to the New York City area. Now with the 1,000 users, so last year's statistics, there was, just looking at a business degree, 250,000 graduates had a business degree, graduated with a business degree last year, and 125,000 of them moved to the New York City area. So 1,000 out of 125,000 college graduates, just a business degree, is less than 1% in that market. And this is not including college graduates with other degrees. So we're confident with that we can get the 1,000 users.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Yes.
Why New York City? Like, because there's so much competition there,
Yes.
right? Why not secondary markets where maybe there's not as much competition?
Okay, New York City, because I have a lot of experience in New York City. So I'm confident, you know, as being an executive of it, I'm just so confident working with New York City. And the biggest thing is that if you can be successful in New York City, we can be successful anywhere. So that's why, you know, and we're ambitious, and we don't mind starting off in New York City first. It's part of, you know.
Last one. First of all, I would echo Sabrina's sentiments. I thought you did a great presentation, and meeting you this evening, I'm very impressed with your physical stature, but also you have a lot of charisma. But I think my question really revolves around, I look at you as an athlete and your experiences here. I would think that you would want to reach out to these schools, possibly through the athletic departments, and try to, because I think in a business like this, some businesses are a pull business and some businesses are a push business. This is much more of a pull business. To be successful, you're going to have to really kind of, you know, adopt more of a system that I think Sabrina's leaning towards of how can you get 1,000 people and how do you get that initial traction? So I think my question to you would be, what niche can you really go after with the academic institutions that you highlighted?
With niche, okay. Amongst college graduates, correct? I would say I'm an economics major, so it would be, first off, trying to get business graduates with like an economics degree or a business degree to try to move to the New York City area. Going about that, targeted a few strong schools. First off, starting off with our school, as well as NYU, Fordham, Columbia, such as those. Appreciate it.
Wow, that was great, Amami. That was really great.
Thank you. I appreciate
Our
it.
second
Thank you.
finalist
Appreciate it. Thank you.
is Lizzie Weingast, who is got nobody here supporting her. She's a sophomore economics major. She was paired with pitch mentor Steve Glab, founder of Hand in Hand Soap. Won't you please welcome Lizzie to the stage for Band Together.
Hello, my name is Lizzie Weingast, and I'm the founder of Band Together. I'm a sophomore here at HWS, and I'm proud to be part of the William Smith ice hockey team. Ever since I was little, I've loved playing hockey. No matter what mood I'm in, getting on the ice always makes me feel better. Having hockey to fall back on during rough days has helped me a lot, especially during my senior year in high school when a very close friend of mine passed away. He also happened to be a tremendous athlete. To this day, I still have his initials TS written on my skates. After realizing how common this is for athletes to dedicate their play to someone else, I created Band Together. Band Together is a customizable headband business that allows athletes to choose someone to play for. The athlete first customizes the phrase, "I play for," and then chooses a charity to donate 10% of the final sale to. Every headband is 100% customizable. The athlete is able to choose where the Band Together logo and I Play For phrase will appear, both of which can be printed on the inside or outside of the headband. In addition, the athlete is able to choose what color headband and font they would like. From the beginning, I knew I wanted Band Together headbands to be high-end, top-of-the-line quality. After researching online and testing numerous prototypes, I've decided that in the short run, my headbands will be manufactured by Halo Headbands, based out of California. Halo headbands are made out of sweat-absorbent, dry-lined fabric and have a rubber strip on the inside to help keep the headband in place. Also, the headband ties in the back, which allows one size to fit all. Additionally, in the short run, printing on the inside of the headband will be done by 2013 pitch winner Space Final, based here in Geneva, New York. Band Together headbands will be geared toward individual athletes as well as whole teams. If a single athlete purchases a headband, they will choose to donate 10% of the final sale to a charity from an already pre-selected list. If groups of athletes place a team order of 20 or more headbands, they're able to choose their own charity to donate to. Athletes are extremely excited about this model of having direct control over the product. I've polled over 100 student athletes and found that 98% are more likely to buy a product if they know a portion is going towards charity. In addition, 89% said they would not only buy a headband, but they'd try to convince their teammates to buy one as well. Band Together headbands are officially NCAA approved. And as of right now, 7 teams have already placed orders. In addition, numerous contacts with colleges across the country have shown interest. Demand is so high. I've actually had to stop collecting pre-orders because I cannot fulfill them all until I have $10,000 from the pitch. While many might question the business model of giving profit away to charities, my costs are extremely viable. For team orders, one headband will sell for $20. For individual orders, one headband is $25. This is comparable to Nike, Lululemon, and Under Armour, who sell for an average of $18. Cost of production for one unit is $8.50. With every team-ordered headband, $2 will be donated to charity, and I will make a gross profit of $9.50. With zero marketing, I already have 200 pre-ordered headbands waiting to be produced. $10,000 will allow Band Together to donate money to charity and make a profit immediately. Here's a list of my startup expenses that I plan on using $10,000 from the pitch on. By allocating a portion of the money toward inventory and marketing, my sales will steadily increase. In addition, I plan to invest in my own heat press and vinyl cutter, which will allow me to personally print on the headbands instead of paying Space Final. Because Band Together startup costs are extremely low, I will not spend the full $10,000 in year one. I plan to put the remaining pitch money aside to save for future costs that arise from consistent growth. Based on my pre-orders, I project to sell over 1,500 units by the end of 2016. By properly using a portion of the awarded money, I will see an immediate return on the awarded funds. By the end of 2016, I will break even and see a year one net profit margin of nearly 45%. In year two, Band Together will sell over 4,000 units, with $8,000 being donated and $38,000 in gross profit. And by year three, Band Together will sell over 9,000 units, with $18,000 being donated and $90,000 in gross profit. It is very important to note that I have long-term plans to further increase my margins. As I see growth, I intend to reduce cost of goods once I gain some economies of scale. I have been in contact with reps overseas and plan to eventually switch over to large manufacturers. I estimate an overseas manufacturer can produce 1 unit for $3. In the future, I plan to sell packages of 2 headbands. 1 headband with the team's home colors and 1 with their away colors. This package deal, along with increased sales, will allow me to place large bulk orders through overseas manufacturers without worrying about leftover inventory. However, I will never change nor waver from Band Together's core beliefs. Band Together is extremely scalable and has the capacity to reach the youth, high school, and college sport markets. Through selling at youth tournaments, connecting with high schools, and a college rep program, Band Together will continue to grow. Lastly, I have already secured my domain name and am in the process of finalizing my website. I have strategically made the domain name for my website Band Together Sportswear, because once I establish a strong market presence and brand recognition, I plan to introduce numerous other sportswear products. Throughout this pitch, I've proven that first, I am ready to start producing headbands immediately. Second, my pre-orders have almost doubled, proving I already have a solid proof of concept. And third, because of extremely low startup costs and a high gross margin, Band Together will be profitable by the end of 2016. But as Band Together takes off, I want you to know I will never lose sight of the reason why I created it. A tragic event in February of 2014 that took the life of my very close friend and a promising athlete not only affected me, but numerous others from my hometown. The initials TS are written on a University of Virginia lacrosse stick, Penn State football helmet, Amherst College baseball hat, and University of Alabama golf towel. Although we're all playing different sports in colleges across the country, that quick moment of reflection, every time we see those initials, bands us together. It reminds us how lucky we are to be healthy, playing the sport we love. It inspires us to practice harder, play harder, and do some good in the process. I believe this is something every athlete should experience daily. There is no doubt Band Together will be successful. The only question left is, will you join my team? Thank you.
I don't think it's fair that you brought all your friends. Very nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
I really like it because there is the charity involved. Unlike the Livestrong bracelets, there's also a function beyond just a fashion statement. So my question to you is, you're pushing this off to college teams and so forth. With changing fads and also different styles and things moving forward, how do you plan to be relevant beyond a year or two? Because a business, I think, should have legs, and there has to be a long-term plan.
Yep. Well, I am going to have repeat customers because between the ages of 6 and 18, kids that are playing youth sports change teams around 5 times. So I am planning on having repeat customers with different color headbands. Also, as I mentioned before, I'm planning on introducing numerous other sportswear products, which is later down the road. And also, as sad as it is, tragic events continue to happen. I believe that athletes playing for someone else will always be relevant, and that is a strong core base of my business, and I feel like that'll always be there for athletes to use.
My question for you, and great presentation. You have so much passion. It really comes through. Who do you sell to? Is it, you can't sell to individuals. It's a lot of 10,000 is a lot of people, or 90,000 people. Do you sell to team captains, and how are you going to reach them?
There's multiple different channels. So if I'm trying to sell to an NCAA team, I can either go after the team captain, or what I'm trying to do is go after athletic directors. because they're the head of the school, and then through one athletic director, I can get 10 sports. So through the college market, that's how I'm going to get teams. Through the youth, I expect to get more individual teams, because through that channel, I want to sell at tournaments where it's just individuals walking by and wanting to get a headband.
Lizzie, I would echo my colleagues' sentiments. I love your passion, love your commitment. I guess my question would be, why not, I saw the NCAA banner on the bottom, and we all know the NCAA likes to get paid for everything. So have you thought about a business model where you would brand the band with the school's logo and really be more of a licensee?
I've been in conversation with the NCAA about that. They'd like to see more revenue coming in. They'd like me to be a business for 3 years before I can use a team's logo. Right now, I'm trying to build the brand, so I'd rather have the Band Together logo on the front, so people are, what is that? Where is that? Go to the Band Together website. And then later down the road, I understand that's prime real estate for any team to have their logo there, and that's definitely something I'm considering later down.
Great presentation.
Thank
You got me crying. So you had like the emotional impact that you want to have. I suppose bring them up, bring them down. Bring them all around. So my question is, I think we all sort of are hitting on a similar theme with you. I mean, you did a great presentation and you're really thorough and you're answering every question. But I worry on this idea about, you've made a headband which is highly replicable. Mm-hmm. So how do you get out in front of that enough to own it and have a Lululemon by you or something like that without them just kind of copying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I plan to be the first person in the sports market with this business model of playing for someone else. Right now, no one else is doing that in the sports market. So the faster I'm able to get these pre-orders out, the faster I'm able to have my brand in the sports world, people knowing what Band Together is. And that's my plan. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I can already see our judges getting nervous. They're making it very tough on you. That was wonderful work, Lizzie. Our third finalist is also a sophomore, Matt Benton. Matt is an environmental studies major. He worked closely with Jeff Warner, General Manager of International Public Policy. Won't you please welcome Matt, the creator of Aficionado.
Good evening, judges, faculty, staff, and friends. Thank you for this opportunity. Now, before I begin my presentation this evening, I have a few quick questions for you all. Now, how many of you here are familiar with the Fitbit? Oh, that's great. Wow. Awesome. Well, if you're not too familiar, with this device here on my wrist, I can effectively measure the steps I've walked today, as well as the distance, the calories I've burned, my heart rate. I can even monitor my sleep habits. Now, combining all these statistics, I can even compete with others online. Now, I'm a pretty competitive guy, so this is great for me. Now, who here likes self-improvement? Wow, it's phenomenal. And this isn't an interrogation by any means, but who here likes saving money? Awesome. And my final question, I promise, who here would want to combat climate change and the negative effects of global warming here on planet Earth? That's phenomenal. Hello. My name is Matthew Benton, and I'm going to capitalize on a major market trend through creation of mine called Aficionado. Now, consumers these days are obsessed with tracking the actions of their daily lives, and I plan on replicating that in the auto industry. Now, so tonight, this evening, I'm going to take you through what Aficionado is, and then I'm going to tell you how it works and who our customers are. And finally, I'm going to show you how we plan to take it to market. So, as you know, we live in an era of information, and in this era, consumers don't want to be coerced or nudged. If they're given the information they want, like the wildly successful Fitbit does, those who are willing to improve and better themselves will do so on their own. I've created an automobile statistics tool, universal app, website, and service devoted to bettering drivers. Think of Aficionado as like a Fitbit for your car. Aficionado will have the ability to generate consumer savings, increase automotive efficiency, and even increase the longevity of one's vehicle for the betterment of the planet, as well as the consumer. This eco-friendly product will ultimately lower global greenhouse gas emissions from the auto sector, combating the negative effects of climate change. So just as the Fitbit gamifies fitness, Aficionado will gamify driving. To better understand Aficionado, let's take a look into the life of Jamie. Now, Jamie is an eco-conscious, cost-conscious, all-around socially responsible individual with a competitive edge, and they're in the market for a new car. Now, they really like the Toyota Corolla, so they decided to buy one used, a 2012. So after seeing an advertisement for Aficionado, seeing how much money they could save, they decide to go out and buy the product for around $150 and install it at home in their garage. Aficionado's simple installation is almost as easy as putting a Fitbit on your wrist. Installation to your car's diagnostics port is all that's needed. Now, after installation, Jamie can now compare the statistics of their individual car to hundreds of thousands of Toyota Corollas on the road. They can measure statistics like miles per gallon, CO2 emissions, momentum conservation, and other driving habits, most efficient travel routes, and even torque and horsepower statistics. Aficionado effectively lets Jamie join a community of competition where they compete to be the most efficient driver on the road. Aficionado would also offer Jamie driving tips and tricks to help them achieve better driving statistics. So for example, Jamie, 60% of drivers with the Toyota Corolla are driving more efficiently than you are. Here are some tips to help you achieve better driving statistics. Tips would include maintenance tips, driving tips, beneficial vehicle upgrades, and vehicle-specific improvements as well. Now, Jamie could view these tips anywhere they'd want to view them, so on their phone, on their laptop or desktop, or if their car had the capability, even on their driving display. The very community of competition that Jamie competes in can be tailored to their preferences as well, whether they want to compete on the local level, the regional level, the national level, or even the global level. So with millions of responsible drivers like Jamie, some of which are in this room, Aficionado has the ability to enact huge impact on a global scale. Now, Aficionado can also mean savings. Aficionado can up the resale value of Jamie's car while extending the life of their vehicle. Through the establishment of the Aficionado ratings tool, Jamie will be able to track just that. So Jamie can use this ratings tool as leverage in dealing with car dealers looking to buy used or leased cars. Now, Jamie's rating provided by the Aficionado service is around a 90, indicating that their car is in great shape. With this rating, dealers know they can sell Jamie's car for more, and therefore, Jamie can ask for more when looking to sell their car back. Now, who here is a fan of prizes? Wow, I'm surprised. Wow, that's great. So, if you're a top Aficionado driver for the month in your car class, Aficionado will send a prize to you. So think Aficionado apparel, or maybe an Aficionado coffee mug or bracelets. Gifts are to be determined. Now, who are our customers? Our customers are like Jamie. They're cost-conscious, eco-conscious, buyers who want to compete. We're looking for buyers of new cars, including all ranges and classes of automobiles, including sports cars, commercial fleets, and even family cars. Now, with the $10,000 won from the pitch, prototype production is the primary goal. I'll use these funds for research and development, and I'd like to enact this within 6 months. We estimate that we'll need an additional $40,000 to complete the rest of our startup costs. We'll need the additional funds to conduct pilot testing. We'll also need additional funds for our app and website and legal protection as well. Now, in the future, it's my intention, let me go over my production costs first. We estimate that our production costs will be between $50 and $80 per device. And our price for the device is $150, and this leaves a profit margin between $70 and $100 per unit. So we plan on working with retailers such as Best Buy and Brookstone in order to, so consumers can have access to our product, So in my creation of Aficionado, I've brought together some great minds that will really help this endeavor take off. So they include Mr. Ryan Artis, who's an electromechanical engineer and patent attorney with the Riverside Law Firm. Andrea Carrillo, who's a graphic designer, and Identity Specialist, Mr. Jeff Werner of Daimler AG, a Washington lobbyist, and maybe even Mr. Dan Shezin, who's a judge here with us this evening, of Hahn Automotive Warehouses. I neglected to mention that in the future, it's my intention to expand to a business-to-business model in which car manufacturers install aficionado in the manufacturing process, allowing consumers access to the product without aftermarket installation. My long-term goal is in licensing out aficionado to major car manufacturers, spreading the ease of access of this great product to consumers worldwide. Now, I'm a huge car guy. I always have been, and I always will be. Take a look at my most recent favorite car, the Lexus NX300H. H is for hybrid. Now, ultimately, I want a planet where I can drive a car on our roads, and I want the same for us all. And aficionado will give a lot of power and control to consumers in deciding our ecological fate here on planet Earth in dealing with the auto sector. So as a leader and sole proprietor of aficionado, I would deliver a product through planet-centered goals and through legal, ethical, and beneficial business practices. This is a product for the people and the planet. So, as we all know, knowledge is power. And we need more leaders in the auto industry to use this knowledge and technology to better our planet and the experiences of drivers. So thank you for your time, attention, and support in bringing aficionado online.
I guess I'm getting the nod since I'm the car guy.
That's great.
As with all of your colleagues, great presentation.
Thank you very much.
You guys are amazing. You're blowing me away. I just have one question, Matthew. Given that, for lack of a better term, what you have is kind of, without being insulting, vaporware, because you don't have a working prototype, and you don't really have, as Lizzie mentioned, a proof of concept or a validation prototype. Why not try to market this in conjunction with one of the big car companies? Why try to start something from scratch where you're going to be competing with, huge multinational companies? Why not try to form an alliance and get your product instantly, accepted if there's a business case behind it for that?
Right. Quite frankly, I enjoy the challenge that this provides. Initially, it was my intention to combine this with another service, if you're familiar with O-Power. Initially, I was going to brand it as Auto Power in conjunction with them because they already have some market research and they've proven efficacy. But I don't know. I really like the challenge that this presents in trying to come in as a third party, service offering benefits to consumers.
So what makes you think that another car company manufacturer couldn't come up with this device itself and have it be a standard option in every car?
Right. That's great. The technology is out there, but I've yet to see a car manufacturer do it. I've done pretty extensive market research, and I don't have any reason to believe that this is in a company's pipeline at this time. So I'm really trying to jump on this and take advantage of this Fitbit era of information and apply it to the auto industry.
That was very fun. Thank you. Good presentation. Do you own the URL?
No, the domain is up for grabs, however. I do need the funds from the pitch to, of course, secure this. But yes, the domain is still up for grabs.
How much is it?
I'm not positive on that.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's worth something.
Hey, thank you.
So people buy a bracelet to monitor their health, right?
Yes.
My feeling is people wear it, eventually ends up on your nightstand.
Right.
And they spend a lot of money to do that. This is for their car, which is not as important as their health.
Right.
So being $150, being $150, you're now coming to market in an age where there's hybrids, right, electric cars.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, have you given any thought as to how much you're going to save a consumer by buying this on an annual basis? Some idea that you're going to be able to market that number? Because to me, that's the only way someone would want to buy it.
Right. Well, my parents are here this evening, and the way I learned to drive was from my father. And my dad is one of the most efficient drivers on the road. He's the guy that'll coast down the hill, won't hit the gas pedal until he absolutely has to. And I believe that if consumers drove like my dad, ultimately, they would save more money at the gas pump with maintenance costs, resale value when you're looking to sell your car back, and save money. I believe a considerable amount of savings is to be realized here. And better yet, global greenhouse gas emissions. As we know, climate change is a reality, and any change is valuable change in that regard.
Okay, that was great, Matt. Our fourth and final finalist is a senior who majors in physics and environmental studies. He worked closely with pitch mentor J.D. Stoyer, who is founder of Colorado Aquaponics. Jeff Rizza has developed Future Farms. Won't you please welcome to the stage for our last pitch of the evening?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Rizza. I'm excited to be here tonight to share with you my vision for the future of food. But first, you should know a little bit about me. I grew up in New Paltz, a small rural town in the Hudson Valley of New York. As a kid, I was constantly outside and captivated by nature. My family always kept a vegetable garden, and we bought food locally whenever possible. But it wasn't until my father was diagnosed with lung cancer that I began to develop an interest in how our food influences our health. Thankfully, my father's fine now, but I was never able to shake that interest. Tonight, I'll tell you about Future Farms and a whole new way to grow local food. First, I'll tell you about some of the issues with our conventional food system, and then I'll share with you our unique solution. Finally, I'll outline the steps we can take to launch this venture. Some of the things we currently do to grow food are shocking. This conventionally grown lettuce, for example, could contain up to 50 harmful chemicals before it's even harvested. And agriculture has a huge impact on our planet as well. We use 80% of the world's fresh water trying to grow food like this. Now, of course, we all want to eat healthy, and nobody wants to harm the environment, but it's hard to find affordable food options that are good for us and good for the planet. A lot of people are beginning to turn towards local food, things like farmers markets and CSAs. Local food has a much smaller environmental impact, and people are beginning to find that it's an affordable, healthy option. But there's a critical problem with local food, one that I'm sure you're all familiar with. This. Winter, right? We can't grow local food all year in most locations. And so because it isn't always convenient, people don't always buy local food. That's the problem that we want to solve. Imagine if we could have access to local food all year. So let me show you what we've come up with to do exactly that. This is a Future Farm. It's an energy-efficient greenhouse that uses some really innovative technology to grow lots of local produce all year. So let's take a look at the technology that we're using. We're combining innovative vertical growing techniques with a technology called aquaponics. And we're doing all of this in climate-controlled greenhouses. Aquaponics is the combination of aquaculture, which is raising fish, and hydroponics, which is growing plants without any soil. It works like a miniature ecosystem. Fish produce nutrients as they breathe and digest their food, and we use that nutrient-rich water to grow plants. In return, the plants filter the water for the fish, and we end up with two revenue streams from fish and plant produce sales. And it's also really efficient. It uses 90% less water than conventional soil agriculture, and it's very energy efficient as well. And we can grow a lot of food in a small area. It's very productive. Let's take lettuce as an example of that. In our 10,000 square foot Future Farm, we can grow 25,000 pounds of lettuce in an 8-week period. How does that compare to soil? Well, in that same amount of soil space, you could grow about a fifth that much, about 5,000 pounds. And because we're using aquaponics, in addition to all this plant produce, we're also growing fish. Now, aquaponics is a way to grow food with all the characteristics we want. It's definitely environmentally responsible, The food it produces is only a bit more expensive than conventional produce and much less expensive than organic, so it's affordable. And the quality is just as good, if not better than organic, so it's great food. And because we're doing this in greenhouses, we've solved the seasonability problem. So aquaponics has been around for a little while, so why now? What is it about now that makes this a good business venture? Well, the answer is customer demand. Today, there's a growing movement towards going local and eating healthy. You've probably heard some of the buzzwords, things like farm to table, slow food, locavore. There's lots of people interested in getting their food locally now. Just last year, the USDA released a report showing that from 2008 to 2012, consumer spending on local food increased by $1.3 billion. So who is it exactly that we're going to sell our produce to? Well, restaurants are the perfect target customer for us. Chefs love the quality of local ingredients, and their customers are beginning to expect local sourcing. By purchasing from Future Farms, restaurants can provide their guests with fresh, local produce all year. So let me walk you through an example of our sales structure. In a Future Farm, we can grow all kinds of fruits and vegetables, but we're going to focus on lettuce sales to restaurants, since that will be an important revenue stream for us. In the Hudson Valley, restaurants purchase conventionally grown lettuce for about 80 cents per head, and organic for about $1.60. By selling our lettuce at $1.25, we position ourselves nicely between conventional and organic prices while still maintaining excellent quality. And at a cost of 55 cents, each head nets us a 70-cent profit. Now, we aren't going to sell just to restaurants. There are also all those people out there interested in purchasing local produce for themselves. So we're going to market direct to consumers as well. And a Future Farm offers a really unique customer experience. You can come right into our greenhouses and purchase the freshest produce possible. You can even harvest your produce yourself. The Hudson Valley is the perfect starting location for us. The people there are already very health and environmentally conscious, so they're looking for this kind of thing. And there's dozens of restaurants interested in sourcing their ingredients locally. 3 of those restaurants have already expressed interest in purchasing from us as soon as we're up and running. Now, our full-scale Future Farm will be able to generate about $200,000 in profit annually, but it's going to cost a little bit more than $10,000 to build. So what is it that we can do with $10,000? Well, it would go a long way towards this. This is a prototype Future Farm. It's about a quarter the size, and it can generate $50,000 in annual profit. It'll cost $50,000 to build, so $10,000 will get us 20% of the way there, and the remaining $40,000 can come from a number of grants available to us. Now, we know that because we're doing something very new, there's some risk associated with that. Starting with this prototype will help us minimize that risk, and it'll also give us an opportunity to determine the best path forward. Eventually, Future Farms will be in communities all over, so that people everywhere can have access to affordable, healthy food. And as we expand, we have some interesting options for diversification. We could manufacture and sell our innovative vertical aquaponics system for home or commercial use. We'll also be able to offer educational and consulting services to teach people how to use aquaponics to grow food for themselves and their families, or for a commercial venture. Future Farms will be the first in the Northeast to offer aquaponics education and consulting. Food deserts are locations where people have very limited food access. With our food production model, we could bring affordable, nutritious food options to some of the people that need it most. My ultimate goal with this company is to ensure that people have access to affordable, healthy food, and to improve the relationship we have with our planet. There's a stigma attached to environmentally focused business, that it just can't be very profitable. With Future Farms, we can show that a company can do the right thing for its customers, the right thing for the planet, and still be a robust business. Thank you.
Nice presentation as well.
Thank you.
I think this is a great idea. I think the idea of local foods is not going to go away. My question to you is, what we put in our body is what the animal eats. So, for example, wild-caught fish versus farm-raised fish. So your mouths will not eat. If someone's concerned about their health, they're not going to eat farm-raised fish. So what are these fish going to be eating so they're not farm-raised fish?
Right. So the food that we're going to be feeding the fish is an organic blend of food. There's standard available commercial fish feed that's organic blend. A lot of commercial fish feeds will have actually other fish in them, ocean-caught fish, and so that's not very sustainable and also can contain harmful chemicals from the processing aspect, and so we'd be sticking to an organic brand for that to ensure that the fish are as healthy as they can be.
So basically, wild-caught fish are high in omega-3s, and farm-raised fish are high in omega-6s.
That's correct.
So the diet you're going to be feeding these fish will be high in omega-3?
That'd be right, yeah.
I loved the presentation, and particularly seeing the logo up big like that made me realize the brilliance of the logo, and I like the way you're matching shirt and tie, like, oh, that rocks. Very nice. My question, however, is this. I want to know, I mean, we talked a little bit, I really am into this concept and local food, and agree with Chris, it's not going away, it's only going to get bigger. But I actually was really taken by the building.
Okay.
Did you guys design that, or is that?
Yeah, I did that.
You did that. So are you going to patent that? I mean, I think there's something actually really brilliant in if it works, and you can prove that out, that you have something very valuable there as well.
Yeah. The building structure itself, I don't think would be patentable, but something that we are working on that I am working towards a patent on is the vertical tower that I mentioned. There are a few vertical farming towers on the market right now, but there are a lot of areas that they could be improved upon, and I purposely didn't put in too much detail on that during the presentation of the depiction of it, but the design that I have for that definitely could be patentable, and that could go into the part I mentioned at the end of manufacturing and selling those to other growers. So yeah, that could be a branch of it.
Yeah, and I liked the store element, and all of, you really thought through, you could see the thinking through how it was going to kind of work in a lot of places, so
Yeah,
good job.
thank you.
Jeff, great job. One thing I'd like to add, I've been fortunate enough to be involved at the Simon School at the University of Rochester, and I've been a judge on the panel for the business competition there for 3 years, and I can tell you, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, Mark, the quality of the presentations that I've heard here tonight blows away the quality of the presentations that I've heard at the Simon School. Seriously. It's a great night to be a Hobie. One of the great things I did learn here, though, was in school, preparation is a big part of success. Mm-hmm. So being that we were very prepared when we came here, I believe it was Amy asked a question in our initial judges meeting that I'd really like to ask you. What is the difference in produce grown under these techniques versus produce grown under normal techniques, where a tremendous amount of water and really environmental aeration is utilized? Is there a perceptible difference in terms of nutrient quantity?
There is. There's research being done on that. I'm assuming you mean soil agriculture as normal. There's a lot of research being done now. Hydroponics is a very similar industry to aquaponics, and there's been research already done in the hydroponic industry that has shown that nutrient contents, if hydroponics is done correctly, can be much higher, up to 60% higher than in soil-grown varieties. And the plant production is actually much quicker in a system like this. So, and aquaponics kind of takes it a step further than hydroponics, because we're actually modeling an ecosystem, because we have the fish and the plants. And so we actually are maintaining a lot of the beneficial bacteria that increases that nutrient content. So yeah, it can be a lot more full of nutrients.
Excellent presentation. You have so much confidence when you speak, and it's really, really a great package. A couple of questions. You said you have other grants available to you. Mm-hmm. You're really going to need them, because this is not going to be an inexpensive endeavor.
That's right.
How are you going to go about getting those grants? And then my other question is, what other locations do you see expanding to? in what other parts of the country or the state, and how quickly?
Okay, so the first one, I mentioned the $40,000 in grants. Those, the ones I have in mind are typically through the USDA or branches of the USDA, and the grants that they have that I've talked to USDA extension agents about are specific to innovative farming projects or first-time farmers. And so those would be the grants that I'd be targeting. If we weren't able to secure the grants, the USDA offers no money down, low interest loans for starting farming projects. A very similar project to this in Boston, some of you might have heard of Freight Farms. A gentleman was awarded $300,000 from the USDA as a loan to start a very similar project to this. So if we weren't able to secure the grants, we would go for a loan like that. Your second question was about?
About what other locations do you
Other
see yourself
locations,
expanding into, and how quickly?
Yeah. So for the first few expansions, I would see just within the Hudson Valley still. One future farm wouldn't be able to kind of serve the entire market there. But then other communities, for example, Burlington, Vermont would be a great one. The area here would actually be great. There's a lot of agriculture going on in the Geneva area and Rochester area, and I think there's a lot of interest in this sort of thing. So we'd definitely be targeting kind of communities that have either connection to agriculture or the people there are very interested in environmental issues and things like that. Thank you guys. Thanks.
Wow. So you work with these students. They've put in probably close to 30 or 40 hours over the last month trying to get ready, and you just want to see them give their very best presentation. So let's give them all a big hand because I think they did that. So now we're going to excuse the judges. I know we've given them a very difficult job. We're going to excuse them. And then everybody else, there is dessert outside. You're welcome to get up and go enjoy that. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Not too bad he had himself a day off. So, person, just a great guy. Just a great guy. Just being a great guy. How you doing? I thought it was a good guy. How did he I don't know. Don't do this to him. Don't do this to him. You need to call five. I'm not sick. I got my sheets. We love you. I love you. Have my kid. If you need my resume now, you win. Hey, find out tomorrow, dude. Oh, shit. Dude, I'm nervous. There he is. Phenomenal. Hey, phenomenal. How nervous were you? You couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. Dude, that was phenomenal. Love all you boys. Like 1 to 10, 20. You're a shoo-in now. You're a shoo-in. Sit back and play the check, right, buddy? I got a speech memorized. Oh, yeah. Good job. Attach this thing to the top of your drink. He's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, that was really fun. Yo, Roger's my friend. Roger sprinted to the front of the cupcake. He took like 10 of them, ate them all, and I tried to get one. He's like, no, dude, you got the defensive. You gotta get He's just drinking like a man. All those were better ideas. Every single one. What was your idea? What adventure? Yeah, adventure is a multi-million-dollar industry. Yeah, what's really cool? It was a blue. Sounds like Venmo to me. Yo, what you do? You know how huge was our house with? That's on camera. What if that thing's worth? Hey, that thing really ran up. Alex Williams. Yeah, Coca-Cola for all your interests. Bars of Coca-Cola. That's great. Yeah, why would you say that? Shut up. Get a little work done. You're proactive. You're jealous you're not there. Okay? You're using jealousy right now. You're ignorant about something. You're insecure about this. Which makes it less valuable. Or less valuable. How much was that? No, that thing's priceless to me. Okay, maybe that's you can't value it. But I'm saying, if you were to sell it, you would get less than buying it. Relax. It's such a much about it's 6 to midnight. I mean, I just want to know. You have a shirt. Where's your other part? I don't know where so it's like Kickstarter. Like whatever on the website, and somebody was Roger to get $10,000 checks, and then Roger is working. Roger is part of my company. Yeah, I want to do that. And it's crazy. You're insecure, bitch. Or that's probably a good point. You can't come back. Just don't tell me.
Okay, we're going to get started. Invite all your friends back from outside. Few too many objects going on up here. So before I invite Paige up, I want to tell you about a new program that the Centennial Center for Leadership and the Entrepreneur Studies minor is going to sponsor this spring. The HWS Hackathon will be on April 9th and 10th, and this is an experience in social innovation. So teams of faculty, staff, and students will have 24 hours to hack a social issue that the community here has chosen. Teams will then pitch their idea to a panel of judges who will select one winner who will be awarded a $500 prize. Students are encouraged to get their teams going now and to register by March 25th. You can find the link on our collegiate link website at the Centennial Center. Great new program. Okay, so Paige Pierce is here. She was our fourth winner of the contest. She was studying abroad last semester in Rome, and she is back on campus and moving her business, Orchard Outfitters, forward. So in the tradition of the pitch, we've asked last year's winner to give us a quick update. So won't you welcome her to the stage?
Thank you, Amy. Hi, my name is Paige Pierce, and I am the founder of Orchard Outfitters and the winner of last year's pitch competition. Thank you. I want to thank President Gearin, the Centennial Center, and the judges who are not here for being here tonight just to support such a fantastic event. You guys, you all did a great job, and I'm very proud of you. So I'm going to start by explaining a little bit of my business and then telling you what I've been up to for the past year. So my first and second year on campus, I started to get really frustrated that there was nowhere to shop in Geneva. I would order clothes online, but they never came right, and it just was not a good experience. But I also noticed that a lot of other schools that are located in small towns like Geneva have students facing the same problem. So I created Orchard Outfitters, a mobile fashion truck that travels to college campuses, popping up, selling trendy clothing and accessories. This is a picture of our website, and as I like to describe ourselves, we're like the fashion general store on wheels. Fashion trucks are actually popular all over the West Coast and are slowly emerging on the East. The exciting thing about fashion trucks is they have the wow factor. So if you can imagine a truck pulling up to the HWS quad, there's going to be music playing, free giveaways, and you're able to come into the truck and try on the clothing and accessories that we all wear as college students. So the Orchard Outfitters truck hopefully will be here by next fall. This is an example of one of the routes our first truck would take. As you know from maybe being on a sports team, we play in a league called the Liberty League that includes a lot of these colleges, but there's actually many all around upstate New York that we would hit with the truck. I was thrilled to win the pitch last year. It gave me the opportunity to start up my business, and it gave me the confidence that I have a good idea. Okay, so since winning the pitch, we've been very busy, as I said. We've built our website, designed a new logo, got up social media accounts, and the best part of our year was that we are talking with investors, which means that we have the potential to really start up our business. We also held our first pop-up shop, which maybe some of you heard about. It was a trunk show in my off-campus house. It was actually -5-degree weather when we had our show, but we still had a good turnout. We had about 60 to 70 guests and a small collection of men's and women's clothing. We were able to take credit cards, Venmo, and cash. We sold a lot of items before and after, and we were able to make about $3,000. I bought clothing and accessories in 2 ways for the show. First, I bought about $1,000 worth of wholesale material, and then I worked with 5 other companies to be sales rep. What I mean by sales rep, for example, is one of our companies, Beauty Counter. Beauty Counter is a chemical-free, toxic-free skincare and makeup line, and they sent us $600 worth of free product, and then we received 35% of sales on the gross profit. This was a great thing for a startup like us, so we don't have to front the cost ourselves. We advertised on social media. We would appreciate it if you followed our Instagram account. And we also created a Facebook event where I invited about 100 people, but the event reached 4,000, which was really great exposure for us as a company. So what the trunk show basically showed us is that we have a proof of concept. I knew that there was this gap between college students and the collegiate fashion market, but having a show and having $3,000 worth of profit sell in only 4 hours proves that students want to shop. So like I said, we had a total net sales of $3,000, which allowed us to break even. We had 63 sales with the average price point of about $45. So where are we headed in the future? We're actually planning on having another spring show that you guys are all invited to. And you can check us out on our Instagram to hear more about that. We're going to have another show at Syracuse to get a better understanding of the bigger college market. And then we hope to finish and finalize our investment deal. It's really exciting at a young age to be offered an investment and have the opportunity to create your own job. And it's something that we hope will work out for us in the future. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the truck on campus this fall, if all goes as planned. But Orchard Outfitters has a bigger plan than that in general. This idea can be applied to many clusters of colleges all around the United States. From the Boston area to down south to other New York schools, we plan on having 5 to 10 to 15 trucks. It's been an exciting year for us, and again, I couldn't thank the school and the president and Stu right here for being more supportive, and that is what we've been up to. Thank you.
just sprung this on Paige. So they're still working and I'm sure you don't want to hear me do any jokes. So we're going to invite the 3 winners, Otto and Drew and Paige. Do you guys mind coming up really briefly? I'm sorry. Just a couple questions. I promise, just a couple. We'll just do a couple here, but I'm sure everybody wants to hear about some of your experiences and what you've learned. So can you tell us about some of the challenges that you've come across and what you've learned from them? Maybe Paige?
I'll start because I have the mic.
Yeah.
Challenges that I've come across. I pretty much come across a challenge every day trying to run a business while attending college. I think just being so young and not having any business experience is a challenge, but it is part of the excitement as being an entrepreneur. Every day I learn about valuation models, about spreadsheets, about wholesale buying and returns and things like that. So it's definitely a whirlwind experience. I know that they are probably deeper into their businesses and are going to have more things. I have you. I got one. But I think it's that. I learn something every day when I wake up, and I try and handle my business.
All right. Big challenge for me is communicating with my team back in Ghana. We're all students here. These teachers don't want to let up with the work, and and taking an overload of classes and having to wake up at 4 to talk to people who are 5 hours ahead of me is one challenge. So effective communication is definitely key. For anyone who wants to start a business, I'd encourage you to work on your communication skills really, really well, just so you're being efficient, you're getting the work done, and everything's going as planned.
Yeah, I would agree with communication 100%. I would say that probably admitting to yourself what you don't know. Knowing what you don't know, I found, is probably the most important thing to learn. And on your search throughout business, then going to find people who know that, and then maybe pay them to do jobs that you're not good at doing. So basically, I would say and also trusting those people and letting go at certain times when you're trying to control every aspect of a business. Can become quite hard.
Good. One last quick one, and then we'll let you go. What is your most important next pitch you have to give?
Okay. For me, it's pitching to investors. Although I won the pitch, I do need about $40,000 more, and I'm confident that I have a good idea and that I can make my business successful. But it's convincing someone else to invest in your idea and you, and that's my next move.
I'm working on starting a pilot of a pivot of my business. So we're running a 2 to 3 month pilot of another service that Revision Prep hopes to roll out to the Guinean students. This is to enable us to increase our market reach and reach kids who do not have access to internet. I'm sure everyone watched my pitch, so you know what business is, but there's tons of kids who don't have access to internet, and we're creating this new service to target them specifically. So I need to work on that, make sure it works, and pilot and actually run it full time from September.
My next pitch is, I would say that it's funny because my next pitch is actually kind of my first pitch that I won this with, because after I used the grant money, we started to just kind of transition into more local print services just to kind of start obtaining the skills we need to start producing at a level that are kind of pitch presented. So now we're actually finally at a stage where we are about to be in bookstores and down to the design of the display unit and figuring all that stuff out. So pretty much the next pitch is pitching our Spacebar stickers to the bookstores. So kind of the original pitch, which is...
That's right. Good for you. Great. We're really proud of you guys. If we hadn't said that enough, thank you again. Okay, Susan, do you want to come on back up and we'll announce our winner?
down here, Amy. Okay. So I know I'm between you and the announcement of the winner. So thank you, Amy. Before we announce the winner, I want to recognize the staff of the Centennial Center for Leadership, whose vision and tenacity make this event happen each year. And so you've met Amy and I, but Salome Rose and Kaylin O'Brien operating the technology. Kaylin O'Brien, we work as a well-oiled machine at the Centennial Center. So now if I could have the 4 finalists join me here on stage. Okay, Matt, Lizzie, Amame, and Jeff, in recognition of your participation in the final round of the Stu Lieblein Pitch Contest, the Centennial Center for Leadership would like to reward you for your wonderful work over the last 6 months. And we would like to support your continued development towards your entrepreneurial leadership and ideas. These certificates that I'm going to hand you are worth $750. Congratulations on your work to date. Our hope is that the contest has only enhanced your desire to pursue your ideas further. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so I'm pleased this evening to turn the stage over to Sabrina Horn, who is going to actually announce the winner.
I'm so nervous. All right. So first of all, every single presentation was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And really we were saying, like, you guys are better than some of the people we work with, you know, in terms of how poised you all were, and the level of preparedness is just so impressive, and no doubt you will all be incredibly successful in your lives and moving forward. And yeah, regardless. And I think we also kind of want to thank you guys for this experience. Like, our hearts are so full for Hobart Williams Smith, and it's just been such a great time to be here with all of you. So we want to thank you. We got a lot out of it as well, in terms of your passion and your own dreams and what you have ahead of you. So anyway, after much deliberation and discussion, we loved every presentation and every single idea, but there was one particular individual who really showed the total package. And the total package is kind of a combination of great presentation, but also a real social mission and a big vision, like big idea, but the ability to kind of really zero in on how to get it started and implement it quickly, and solving actually a very big problem. This individual just cut right to the chase. And we were just very impressed with the maturity of the idea and how it can be executed. So the winner is Jeff Rizza, founder of Future.
Thank you. So you're going to close us up, huh?
Well, don't try to cash that exact check tomorrow, Jeff. Well, to Matt and AC and to Lizzie, one more time, well done. Dan made a big point earlier, and Sabrina referenced it and others, that having judged entrepreneurial contests at the Simon School, who are MBA candidates, tonight's presentations were more impressive. And understand those three that remain are only sophomores. That's very impressive, what you brought here. So tonight is a night that represents the very best of Hobart and William Smith. Great students, well prepared in the classroom, well prepared through the Centennial Center, knitting together our faculty and staff and alumni and alumni, a phenomenal group of students supporting your classmates, wonderfully supporting them, which says a lot about you and your friendship. Wonderful families that have traveled here. From the south and from the west, or the east to Albany, and those that have watched this streaming. So we're such a blessing on all these levels. And finally, to our alums. We won the lottery with the judging panel this year. You brought real savvy and sophisticated questions. I'm glad I don't get those questions with this. And great commitment to the institution. So we thank each and every one of you. We thank the Centennial Center for the leadership, and we look forward to the 6th annual pitch competition next year. Thank you and good night.